Today we are with the amazing, awesome Lauren Litt. This is somebody who is just knows social media. She has her own social media company, and what she is amazing about to me is that she fell into this in a way, is how I see it, that it wasn't something that she was actively seeking, but fell into it and then fell into massive success. So Lauren has quite a bit going on, and she can really teach us about her special skills, what she sees as important, and what it is that we can all do ourselves to help generate those leads and start building and maybe fall into success ourselves. So I am so excited that Lauren's here. Yay!
Welcome, Lauren. We're so happy you're here. And of course,
I started sweating when you were like, you're so successful. I'm like, oh my God.
You are like, you have, I mean, seriously, you have a multiple six-figure social media company. That is something a lot of people aspire to. And you just did that and created that. I mean, and we want to start off, like, I'm going to let Harley start this, but like, basically we want to understand what you did. So Harley, you take the lead here.
We're going to jump right into why everyone is here, which is the summit is all about getting clients. So Lauren, we want to start with, what has been, and I know it's probably a longer answer than the question sounds, but what's been your favorite way, your most prolific way, your most successful way of getting clients?
I mean, honestly, my biggest way of getting clients has been word of mouth. I'm really big about creating community, creating connections, and not worrying about the client that's going to be on the other end of that. I talk a lot in my social media practice about, keeping a really small footprint on social media so you can actually engage with and be part of the community with people. And it's not an overnight option. If you need a client tomorrow, this is not the process for you. But, I'm getting ready to sign someone this month, maybe next month, who I've been in communication with for years, and they're about to be one of my full service clients. So, it's really just, who do you want to help, connecting with those people and allowing your service and how you serve the world to speak for itself.
So, okay, that sounds good, but like,
and it is good. But we're going to break it down.
Good, but like you're like, I want to like kind of walk through this a little bit, because people say things like creating community, building connection, whatever, but like those are vague. I want to understand what you're actually doing, like boom, boom, boom me, so that the idea being, I want to be able to replicate it. Everyone who's watching wants to be able to replicate it. Talk like, what would you do like to build that community, and how do you share within that community, let them know that you actually have a service rather than are just serving? Like,
all right, everybody, pull your pens out. So the first thing is, like, I help people who don't like social media, but know they need it for their business. Okay. So right away, if you have anxiety around social media, if you feel like it's overwhelming, this is the advice for you. Okay. Because the not so secret I always say is, I don't like social media either. Like it's super overwhelming to me. I am neurodivergent, so it really is a distraction and can make me feel really depressed after I've been on it. So of course I built a business around this whole thing. So I like to approach social media from a do less, more often space. And what that means is, I am not going to encourage any of you here to be on every single social media platform. You are running your business based on your passion. And I'm going to bet that passion is not to be an influencer or a social media manager, right? Like, you're here to actually help people and to do one good thing in the world. And so pick one platform, whether that is your Facebook group or your LinkedIn profile or your Instagram page, one thing, and focus on a consistent way that you can put out content. I'm not going to say every day, because you don't need to do it every day. If you go jump over on my own social media platforms, you're going to see that I post a couple times a month. I go live and I'm in my stories a lot on Facebook and Instagram. The way you create community is you treat every person who follows you like an actual person. So for me, my main source of new clients is Instagram. That's my hero platform. That's what I do. So every single time someone follows me on Instagram, I check out their profile and I send them a voice message and I say, hi, thank you, Nancy, for following me here. I am super excited to get to know you. I love helping people, blah, 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 blah. If you have any questions, let me know. But I really just, am excited to learn more about you. Now, I don't follow them right away because I don't know if I actually want to follow this person. I don't know who this person is, but I do that first voice message to see, are they actually active and engaged on this platform so that we can take that next step together. Then, I kind of keep an eye on them for the next week or so. I go into my messages, I go back and I check on them. I'll comment on their stuff. If someone all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wow, I love what you're doing. This actually happened. This woman is a copywriter and I had reached out and, said hello and shared my lead magnet. And she was like, I don't need it right now, but thank you. And I started really getting into her content and I was like, you are brilliant. Like everything you're doing is so fabulous. And so I'm just trying, at this point, I'm just like supporting and promoting her by leaving comments and engaging with her stuff because she has super low engagement and she's putting out such great content that I really want more people to see it. So I don't see Coffee House as just one potential client. Like I see this as a woman who has put a really smart business together and is really looking to serve people. So I want to help her. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, but so you're saying you engage with her content.
Yes.
Like, okay, so I love that you're leaving this voice message. So for step one is, hey, blah, 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 love what you're doing. Thank you so much for following. Do you actually offer the lead magnet then? Like, would you be interested in checking out my 7 tips,
So,
whatever?
Yeah, here's my actual script.
Oh, okay, guys, really get ready to write down.
All right. So again, I'm going to say we'll use Ucoachia, right? Hey, Nancy, saw that you're doing Ucoachia. I absolutely love that you are helping people save money when they're starting their coaching business because that is really important. This is a long game and I get it. I've been in the coaching business for several years now. I love helping people who don't like social media, but know they need it for their biz. If you have any questions at all about social media, please feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I look forward to getting to know you here on the good old IG. That's the voice message.
Okay. So
then they respond.
Okay. So I do reply at that one. I'm like, do I like a text, thanks, thumbs up, whatever. It doesn't matter what I do.
Yes. If there's any response at all, then I go back and forth with them a little bit. We talk about their business, whatever. And then I offer my lead magnet. Hey, I've got this great free video series that walks you through how to build engagement on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Would you like the link? Now, here's the key, y'all. When you are reaching out to people with a lead magnet, which is a way for people to get onto your newsletter list, for you to gather their email and be able to contact them off platform, you always start with, what is the value to them? I have this thing that's going to help you build engagement. And then you end with, would you like the link? I don't ever want you spamming people with links because it turns people off and you have a really low conversion rate. So when we do this properly, you should be getting around a 10% conversion rate of people saying, yes, I would like that, and then getting onto your newsletter list. So, if that means you're sending out 10 a month, you have 1 new lead coming in. If that means you're sending out 100 a month, you have 10 new leads coming in. What if you're in a weird niche? Ooh, Diane, what is your niche?
I think you
should. It's STEM coaching.
Yeah, I am
STEM coaches. Yeah, hi.
I'm a biomedical engineer and my business is career coaching for STEM. Very unique, very particular, very weird. I'll say that. It's Monday morning. It's very weird.
Well, you're not the first STEM coach I've actually met. So you are niche, but there's definitely a huge requirement for the work you do. Yeah. So what's the platform you're on?
I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. The business platform I will work with is LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think LinkedIn makes super sense for you. Kind of the same thing that I'm describing with how I do on Instagram. That's how I would apply it to your LinkedIn profile. Your personal profile has a lot more power than your business profile on LinkedIn. So do this by searching You know, if there is a specific, I mean, probably not looking for STEM because that's super nichey and like inner talk, but
I'm a biomedical engineer. I know
Yeah.
exactly who my audience is.
so if you put biomedical engineer and find other biomedical engineers and reach out to them, hey, I'm doing this. This is kind of what I do. Let me know if you ever need any help. Like just literally do that. And then if you
Yes,
have a lead magnet,
I'm there.
fabulous. I hope that's helpful.
I'll let you know in about 6 months.
Great. And I love, here's the awesome thing, Diane, about what you just said, 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
Having
Timelines.
yeah, well, timelines, but also a realistic expectation of how this is going to work for your business. Whenever I start working with someone, it takes us 3 months to figure out what kind of content works, figure out the message, figure out our conversion rates, like all of that takes time. And so
Mhm.
to just think, okay, I'm going to do this and next week I'm going to have clients. This is
No.
a long game. I like
Long
Nancy
game.
Nancy was like, oh, Lauren's got this great successful business. Y'all, next year's 10 years in business. And I was doing this for
Wow.
several years before it. So this is not a just. This is, and that's what I wish people were much more honest about in the coaching industry.
Yeah.
This takes time. Now it is incredibly rewarding. I am so grateful to be where I am in my business today and to be helping the people I help. But it was a good 3 or 4 years before I was like, oh, okay, this is my sole job.
Mhm.
You know,
So let's just continue down this road because this is very, very helpful. So I really like, to me, like this is the entire crux of why we're doing these interviews, is to really just, people need to walk away with like information they can use to, which I love. So here we go. I write them, they respond. Sometimes just starting that conversation is awkward AF.
oh, it's always awkward, y'all. It's always awkward.
Like an example of like the transition from the thumb up that you're getting into the conversation where you're pulling information out. So is there, like, do you have like a kind of a standard transitional thing?
There's not a standard thing, but I think that the piece that always gives me relief and my clients relief is remembering that this is about them. It's not about you.
Mm.
So, you know, if you get the thumb up and you're like, oh, cool, go to their profile. What are they posting about? What are they interested in? How can you be of assistance to them? How can you show up
Yes.
for them?
Okay. Like, can I just to really, really put you on the spot? Can you give an example? Because like, I'm like imagining again with Ucoachia, because like Lauren, by the way, is running us on social media and we would have nothing without her. And so nothing. So it's like, she's taking us and her whole thing is about you. Like, again, it's not a big, we're not trying to hit 20,000 people. She's like, you'd rather have 30 people that you're connected with than 20,000 people who are just vanity.
Yes.
And love that. Takes a lot of pressure off about getting the numbers. But let's say somebody, so if you pretend that you wrote me on Ucoachia and I respond with the thumbs up, then what would be a transition into that?
Do I have the ability to share my screen?
You're about to, because I will give you power. Okay, hold on.
Exciting.
This is exciting. Hold on. I'll give you power when I feel like it. Give me
when I feel like it, Lauren.
no, 1 second before. Okay, go for it.
All right, so I'm actually going to share, because we're talking Instagram here, I'm going to go ahead and share my phone. I swear, y'all, every week there's a new plugin for, there we go, Zoom. Okay, everybody should be seeing my phone right now.
Yes.
Nope.
Well, it says
Has started screen sharing, but I don't see anything.
All right. Let's try it one more time. And if this
Ain't
doesn't
technology wonderful?
work, it's so bad. All right, do y'all see it now?
Nope. Just as you've started sharing your screen sharing, but it like it just doesn't want you to actually share.
I'm seeing it. So no one at all is seeing this?
no.
Okay. We will say goodbye then to screen sharing for today. What I wanted to show you was like a specific example. So, okay, I am here. All right. So see, I've got Well, one of these is my friend, but I've got 2 voicemails waiting for me of responses that I sent out on Sunday.
Anya Starfish, is that? Please tell me that's your friend.
Yeah, Lasagna Starfish is my friend. She runs like one of the best wedding venues in LA, and she has stories, y'all.
Oh my God, I bet.
Okay, so Allison Greek, I sent her a voicemail. She followed me over the weekend, and so I like sent her a voicemail back. So I've got a voicemail coming back from her. So let's listen. Oh. Nothing. No communication is working today. It's not even playing. She left me a 38-second voicemail. All right. So what I'm probably going to do is respond back. Oh my gosh, Allison, for some reason, your voice memo isn't working. Let me, how are you doing? Happy Monday. And then I'm also going to go over to her profile here. So here's her profile. You can see Allison. Oh, she's one of my perfect clients. She's a health coach. And I can see she has 717 followers, 381 people are following. It looks like she's posting pretty frequently. I would call her a pretty savvy Instagram user. But when I click on her content, really loud, really, really, really low engagement. Like, she's got 13 likes on these reels she's doing, which she should be getting a lot more engagement on this stuff. So I'm going to start by on her most recent thing. I would read this. Ooh, she's, because she's a health coach, she's put some tips, and I'm going to respond by saying like, yes, I find that when I'm trying to be healthier, adding protein is definitely something, because I can tell here adding value to her. Oops, nobody can see. There's no comments on this post. There's like 16 likes on this post. Like, how can I help her? I can help her by having more people see her content. So I'm going to leave a nice long message that actually is about what she posted and not something that's just like, yay, great post. Nobody cares about that. So like, again, this is like a very specific instance.
Now,
That's the only way to build.
Right. Like, I know that some people go through when they're trying to get you to follow them, they'll go through and they'll like and comment on like 87 things at one time.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, that feels genuine. But like or do you just kind of just choose like the most current one, just do one? Like, are you targeted, or is it like the spray approach?
It's not the spray. I mean, it's definitely like, sometimes you get lost in someone's stuff and you're like, oh my God, I just love everything. Most of the time I'm just doing one, and then I'll check back in about a week and do another post, and I keep track specifically on Instagram for this in my message chain. Who have I talked to? Who was the last person? And I just go back through and kind of like click on their profiles and see what's new.
Interesting.
So what I hear you saying is that you're using Instagram as a vehicle to create authentic connection and support for these people, right? That the first stage is not about, how can I help you? Oh, excuse me, or, what can I help you with my business? But it's who are you? What do we have in common? How can I relate to you as a human being so that we make a human connection? And how can I support you? Right? Yeah. So it has nothing to do with your social media business, the first step.
Yeah. I mean, I lead with that, right? Like, this is what I do, and this is why I love helping people.
Right.
But I mean, there's even been instances, y'all, where I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you really need to talk to this person. I know they could super help your business. Even though my business could also help them, I see that like this other person is where they really need to be.
Yeah.
So then, okay. Now we're like the client acquisition side of it. So you've been in communication with them. Yeah. So like now you've been in communication with them and they're all like, I love you. You're like, I love you.
Yeah.
But at this point, how do you go from this connection, which could be friend zoning, into the, hey, I want to help you build the business? What do you do there?
So there are 2 rules of marketing that we go by. One is called the rule of 7, which is really more like the rule of 10 to 12 at this point, but it is people have to see your content consistently at least 7 times in order to know, like, and trust you. So that's why, consistency over anything, do less more often, even if you're just posting once a month, like consistency, consistency, consistency. The other rule of marketing is 80-20. So a lot of what I've been talking about is the 80 of the 80-20. The 80-20 says 80% of the content you put out, of the touches you do, should be gives. They should be other focused. They should be community based, helpful. 20% of the time it's a take. And that's why I think I help people really well on social media. Is it's hard to know when that take is supposed to happen, right? So you're like, I don't know, I've done like a lot of this stuff and we've been talking for a while and now I don't know what to do. And by the way, the other person, if you have just been coming from a space of like, I'm just waiting to ask you to be on my lead magnet, they know. We've all received those messages where someone's like, hey, I love your business.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, it's really cool. Do you want to tell me about what you do? No, I don't. Oh, okay. Well, I see you're in social. You're like, would you please just ask me if I want your leadership coaching? Like, just ask, So I like to have phases in my business. Like I have a phase of building, and then, we launch something a couple times a year. A couple months ago, I had a few spots open up for full service. So I was reaching out to everybody. Hey, do you know anyone who's looking for full service social media help? Right? It's really coming from me being like, in November, I'm getting ready to launch a new program. So in November, I'm going to be saying, hey, I've got this really cool program. Do you know of anyone, or would you like more information about it? Because I have a need for it. If you are looking to fill your first 5 clients, say, hey, I'm giving out free discovery calls because I want to help more people with their baking business, like, do you know of any bakers, or would you like for this? And then jump into a discovery call with them. Don't be afraid to help. Share your message, because that's the whole reason why you're doing this. People actually want your help. They do.
Yeah. I love that. And I love what you said about, that I don't want to get into it now because it's kind of complicated, but it sounds like there's, quarterly planning going on, and, and you're making, you're being specific about when you're reaching out because you've planned that ahead of time about what you're launching. And I love to hear that, just as a taste for the future for newer people, right? Where it gets to the point where everything is on purpose. It's not just kind of floating around, but you're intentional with your connections. Yeah.
And everything takes so much longer than you think, y'all. I thought I was going to launch this thing that's happening in November in January. I was like, I'm just going to do this thing. And everybody was like, no, you're not going to do the thing. You're actually going to build out your full service side for like another 9 months. And then maybe you can do the thing. So,
it's so true.
Yeah.
So, okay, good. I'm going to go to the next question, which is, you've been doing this for a while. You're obviously at ease dealing with the online world and kind of connecting and great at it. But when you first started, if you have like some hindsight, if you were able to take the information you have now, if you're able to apply anything you've learned, what do you think would have made the biggest difference in your business when you first started? And what would you have done differently if you could have gone back and changed anything?
Such a good question, Nancy. We talked about this before, but I feel like I have a different answer today. What I just mentioned, that everything takes time. And I wish that this idea of overnight success had been thrown out of my head. Like if someone had said to me, it's going to take you 3 years for this to be your full-time income, I think that I would have felt so much less stressed about this long ramp and my feeling of not knowing how to do things. And like when you get 2 clients now, it's like, oh, I need systems. How is this going to happen? Like all of that. I think it just would have felt easier if I'd known this can take a while, but at the end, you're going to really love what you're doing and really love how you're helping people. And it's worth it.
So you would have had more patience with yourself and a little more grace.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to dive right into the next question because it's so related, because I think what you just said might be one of your answers, which is, what is your current, your biggest pet peeve about the current coaching industry. And I think what you just said about this message of overnight success even a message of 3 to 4 month success, you know, it can be so toxic because it takes people out, it ruins people's self-esteem because they think that something's wrong with them, right? So can you expand on that? Is that, am I right? I'm guessing.
We think we know what Harley's issue is, but like,
am I right? Is that one of your biggest pet peeves? Is there, you know, in the coaching industry today, what you see out there, what are some of the things that really bother you?
Yeah. So I watch a lot of webinars because to me, that's a great way to sell. So I watch other people's webinars all the time. I'm always jumping on things, taking tips, figuring out what to do. And last year or earlier this year, I watched a webinar by a very famous coach. And she was selling how to build your course program. And you know, she did the whole thing and people are buying and everybody's excited. And then the question came in is like, well, what do I do once the program's built? Like, I don't really have a list. And she said, oh, that's super simple. You just put up a Facebook ad and people will buy it. And I wanted to jump through the little like message thing and scream like, that is not how any of this works. Like, I'm sorry, you are not going to just put out a Facebook post and give some promotion here. Like that is.
Well, no, maybe she has $100,000 a week to do it. And then, you know, it is that easy. It is. You guys have $100 grand, correct?
No, totally.
Just do it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So it's that idea that when people are taking from people and I hate lying. I hate it. I hate inauthenticity and lying. It gives me all of the chills. And I think it's an awful way to sell. And it's an awful way to run a business. And I just hate that that's where a lot of people, or that whole thing of like, in the webinar thing where you go into the sales pitch and then they like lean hard on you and like, oh, if you don't get this. Now, there's very much a space of sometimes you're scared and you know it's the right thing to do and you need someone to say, no, take the step. But other times you're like, well, gee, I just don't know, you know, like if this is the thing that fits me. And the fact that people prey on that.
Like this, I don't know, this doesn't sound true to me, but they're telling me it is. And they're bringing all these people out who are saying it worked for them.
When people are like, I've made 6 figures.
Listen to
like hot heat flames.
Oh my God, don't even. That's my favorite.
I know, right?
I watched it this weekend. Clue the movie reference, if anybody. Madeline Kahn. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Madeline Kahn, she's brilliant. But when people like start to talk about how much income their business makes as if that is the key success metric. I've been very lucky this year. I have a team of 9, you know, so like there's a lot of people that work with me. And so we hired a bookkeeper because there's a whole bunch of stuff that I don't want to know about. And they shared with me, they specialize with coaches in the online business. So they see online businesses all the time. And they were like, you will not believe how many coaches come to us who have like a 10% profit margin. They're selling hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and they're making like 50K because they have so much wrapped up in advertising, so much wrapped up in their overhead, so much wrapped up in all of that stuff. And they're actually not taking home very much money at all. They said that's very, very common. That's the one thing that they help people in the online industry adjust so that you are able to take home money. And maybe your overhead's less, or your income overall is less. But yeah, this whole like, I made 7 figures thing, you all like, oh my God.
I want to go back to something you just said, because I think this is really important, where how to distinguish the fear and the red flag of stepping outside of your comfort zone. Like if you know that you need support, right? If you know you need support, and we all do, everyone needs support in order to start their business. How can you distinguish between I'm scared that I'm not going to show up. I'm scared that this is a big step. This is outside of my comfort zone. And really feeling your intuition that something's not right here. This person is selling me a bill of goods and my intuition is telling me no. Do you have any tips about how to distinguish between those two feelings?
I'm trying to think of like when I've bought things and I'm like, well, that was useless. I've been very lucky in my journey in that my first coach, brilliant, and really set me up for success. So I haven't had these like tons of opportunities where I'm like throwing money away here and there.
I remember you said something last time when we
Yeah.
spoke, and you said if it seems too good to be true.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's 100%. Yeah. If someone's like, so I'm also an actor, you all, that's why I started this whole business. I was like, I just need to do this side thing. It'll be great.
Nine people underneath her later, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell you, like
In a decade. But yeah, like, I think that especially in an actor, you know, they'll be like, oh, well, you know, you're going to get this next role if you just get a new headshot, if you just take this class, if you just do whatever, all of your dreams will come true. You just have to do this one thing. And it's not one thing, it's many things,
Right.
you know? So I think that for my business, because I'm constantly growing as well, like one, have that open mindset of like, where do I need to grow? Know what your intentions are. 6 months, you know, like I love, again, Diane saying, okay, 6 months from now, I'll let you know if that social media plan works. That is great. Like, where do you want to be in 6 months? What education do you need to be in alignment with that down the line?
Oh, that's so, can you say that again? That one sentence, where you want to be 6 months and what education? Say it again. That was so good.
Okay.
Very good.
Like, we're not taking the education from where we are today, right? If you focus on, so next year, you know, I'm probably going to do a new hire, which means we need to flesh out more full service stuff. And I have to have this other thing. So I'm like, okay, I've invested for 2023 in a marketing program to help me bring in more clients myself, because I know in 2023, I'm going to need more exposure and more high level content. So I made the business decision this year for where I'm going to be at the end of next year.
Right.
So we don't need to fill in the gaps for where I am today, but you need to look forward and just pick one thing to like keep moving forward. I mean, the brilliance of Ucoachia that you all are doing is that you get to have this full platform and know, okay, maybe social media, I mean, I would love if you all started with me, but maybe social media isn't the first thing, but you have all of that sitting there. So you're like, okay, once I get this done, and once I get my sales done, and once I get my copy done, now I'm ready to add on the social media layer. You know, it's like, it's a way for you to be able to take each of those steps in order and know that you have full support.
100%, which then leads to the best question of the day. No.
Chocolate. I like chocolate.
Chocolate. It's good. No, we do want to know, like, what, I mean, like, well, I've known Lauren for some time, and I'll be honest, guys, I stalked her and I fully went out and tried to get Lauren to be part of Ucoachia because I love her energy. And it was for me about finding people who are energetically aligned and have like they're positive and they're upbeat and authentic and they want to help. But so I knew why we wanted Lauren. It wasn't like a mystery to us why we wanted her in Ucoachia. But why were you interested in being a part of Ucoachia?
I love the idea that there is multiple levels of support, because right when you're starting off, like if I think of little baby business Lauren sitting in, true story, you all, in my closet with my desk, because we lived in a 600 square foot apartment in Koreatown in Los Angeles. Like if I had someone be like, look, you don't know everything and that's okay, but we've got everything here for you. And here's the first step. Here's the next step. That would have been really, really helpful. And I just also really love that you're not trying to get people to invest $10,000 when you don't have $10,000 when you're getting ready. Like that's not, you know, and depending on, there's a bunch of coaches here, you know, everybody is serving a different audience, but being aware of who your audience is and where they're starting. I feel like Ucoachia has so much, I can't think of the word I want, but you're taking care of your audience by setting it at a price point that is affordable for people to actually make the progress they need in order to get their investment back.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean,
Plus, I love you, Nancy.
I did that part, but whatever you said, yes. Yeah, no, I think that it's 100% true. And I mean, when you're dealing with it, I mean, just Ucoachia has in it these people of such amazing caliber that have stepped forward into joining it. It's amazing what you can get, and having access to someone like Lauren. And the truth is, like right now, we're in launch and we're small right now, which means you also know you get access to someone like Lauren. You're pretty much so going to get almost like one-on-one access with someone like Lauren, where you can go into class and ask her for her help and her guidance on what you're doing, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. The value right now is crazy.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like the people who jump in now are like basically getting the most personalized attention humanly possible from some of the top people in the industry. And like to have you, like say this, have your eyes on someone's social media is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Speaking of which, Mary just asked a question in the chat. How do you get engagement as a business to customers? I'm one of those good content, but very little engagement. My client is not a business, but individuals.
Good question.
If you can let me know what your platform is, that way I can give you more specific advice about this. But in general, when I find that people are putting out really good content, like if you're like, yes, this is on point and this is based, what my clients actually need to hear, Facebook and Instagram, great. I think that you're putting too much effort on your content and not enough effort on your engagement. And so this looks a couple different ways. So on Facebook, when you put out a piece of content, or if you're getting any likes, any thumbs up, any, whatever, click and see who those people are. And then you can say, Nancy and Harley, thank you so much for liking this post. Like actually tag them and respond. So people are like, oh my gosh, she responded. Plus Facebook, when you're putting the content out, likes, whatever, that doesn't get a lot of oomph in the algorithm. A comment does. And then Nancy and Harley may be like, ooh, Lauren talked directly to me, and they may respond. They may not. That's totally fine. Your whole goal is to actually engage on the platform, because social media is social. If you're just putting content up consistently, if you're doing the posting, you're not going to see engagement. And then the same thing on Instagram, likes, comments, actually engage with the people who are following up with you. I always like to say, like, I have my little office here. I couldn't fit the number of people who like my posts in my office, right? Like I can't serve that many people. I only have 10 full service slots and 12 consulting slots. Like that's all I have. So if you've got 2 or 3 people consistently engaging, and they're not your mom, like we don't want to hire our moms, right? Or moms hire us. But like whoever is actually engaging with your content, they are a godsend and a gift, and probably one of those 10 to 12 people that you need, right? Like, yes, we want engagement to be up, but you have to focus on what you have in order to build from it. Does that help you a little bit, Mary?
I love what you're saying here, because I think that just the line, you're focusing more on your content than your engagement. And I think that it's been so taught that content, push out the content. And that's where we're putting all of our energy. We're not actually relating to people. We're not actually connecting to people, which is the point of all of this content. So to take some of that time and energy to go in and actually find out who these people are, find a commonality, find a way to reach out to them, create relationships, authentic relationships. That's what I hear you saying. And I'm even inspired myself. I'm like, I just texted Nancy. I'm like, okay, engagement all day today. We're going to engagement, like I'm ready. Like, let me at them, because it's important.
Yeah. Like I love for people to think of, if you have 1 hour a month to spend on your social media, 30 minutes of it should be creating your content. If that's one post, great. 30 minutes of it should be engaging with people. Like thinking that you're just going to push out content. I always call it the shoulds. Like, let's get rid of the shoulds, because when you hear that advice, it is coming from a social media manager or an influencer, both of who spend 40 to 60 hours a week working on social media. You should be spending 40 hours a week running your business, not on social media. And then you can hire me and I'll do it for you. But, but like, you don't have the time.
Let us know. We'll help you hook her up.
Yeah, no, but like, you do not have the time. I get so angry, like, oh my God, when reels started becoming a big thing on Instagram earlier, and everybody was like, you got to post 2 to 3 reels a week. And that's the only thing that's working on Instagram. I was like, that's blatantly false. You know, like, yes, reels do get a lot of reach, but if you're looking at conversions, like, what is your goal? Is your goal to get a lot of followers? Great, be an influencer. But if your goal is to have a coaching business, I bet you want clients as the main thing. So like, carousels get great conversions. Going live, great conversion. That's actually the number one thing that works for me. I always get new followers and like potential customers from going live once a month. That's just like what happens for me. Your face, just a picture of your pretty face, great conversions. So reels, yeah, they do great in bringing in new audience members, but they're not great at converting into customers and clients.
So don't believe the hype.
Don't believe the hype. Like, absolutely, I recommend reels as a part of your full social media strategy. But there's all of these, I like to say, you got to know the rules of the game of each social media platform and then apply them. Because if you're playing life with Monopoly rules, like, you're just never going to win.
So how do you learn those rules? What's a way to learn? I mean, I guess there's YouTube, right?
Yeah. Literally, you can Google anything, y'all. Like, you can literally Google anything. If you are like, I don't have the time, hire a coach. That's why you all started coaching, right? You know, when you can help someone's pain point, you can shorten the time of them actually getting to the point where they're getting results if they work with you. That's why we all do stuff. That's why we specialize in things. But to get started, whatever your platform is, most of them have like either an internal memo that they release like out to people saying like, here's changes we're doing. Or they have someone who is the quote unquote face of the company. Pinterest is really good about sharing things. They're not quite a social platform, but I love their conversion rates. So I recommend them for certain people. And Instagram, what's his name? Mazari. He's also a cute little nerdy guy that you can have fun watching, but he's always giving updates about how the platform is. Facebook does all of their meta updates, so you can just Google like, what are we in October? I almost said March, October 2022 Facebook updates. And you will see, here's what's going on. Here's the best stuff that's happening. And you can read through that and figure it out.
Yeah. So it's important to stay up to date, to understand what's actually happening with your content.
As opposed to what people are saying is happening, because you guys do not have to go dancing on reels and be like,
no, you don't have to point. If you want to point, more power to you, but you do not have to point.
I love that, because I watch those things. So I'm always like, okay, how are you doing that? So, I mean, I don't have the skill or the inclination, but I am curious. I'm like, whatever from like made you everyone do this. But it's interesting, especially when you're talking about like I know with sound, they were talking about like you want to add certain sounds and that impacts things. So there's different things you can do to help get eyeballs, but it doesn't matter how many people are seeing it. It's how many people you're engaging with is what it boils down to.
Like I have a friend who keeps threatening to hire me, but doesn't, but she will someday. She reached out. She's like, oh my God, I had a reel that went viral. It's so exciting. I had it was at like 10,000 views right away within an hour. What do I do? And I was like, well, who actually followed you? And she was like, well, it's not really a lot of my people, or, like the likes, like, I don't really see, the kind. She's a health coach for actors. And I was like, well, then that's your answer. Nothing like that. Yay. Good job. But also there's not much else to do. Like if you look through the people who followed you, found who was your client, or your potential client, and start a relationship with them. If you look through the likes and there's not really anybody there, that's it. Like, yay, you went viral, but again, it's in that engagement piece that turns things.
I love it. Does
So
anyone
helpful.
have any questions for Lauren while you have her here? Anything coming up for anybody? Such an awesome opportunity. Thank you so much for being with us, Lauren, and being so open with all of your knowledge. We're
Yep.
still, learning the ins and outs of social media and how it works. But what I keep taking away is to bring it down. It comes back to connection. It comes back to authentic connection between people. And this is just a vehicle. Social media is just a vehicle for us to connect with people and to keep focusing on that, the human element of it.
Yeah, 100%. We are social beings. And if you just think about like how happy you are when someone actually comments.
I know, it's a dopamine hit. It really is. That's why we're all addicted to it.
Yeah. But it's like, if you can be not a bot, if you can be a real human, and remember there are other real humans, and this is a wonderful way to build community. My business doubled when the pandemic started. I thought like, no one's going to pay for social media, but that was like one of the only ways that people could create community and still engage with people,
Right.
Which was lucky. But it really is like, come from that space, come from like, how can I serve? How can I help? Each of you on here has your own expertise. Like that's the fabulous thing about coaching is like, we have one rule, a little shameless plug, is we only help people who are doing something good in the world. Doesn't matter what you're doing, but you have to be doing something good. And so coaches, I love coaches because you all are looking to help the world. You all are looking to make an improvement in the one little way you can do that. And so, no matter how you're applying that, you're doing it because the universe has sent you here to do a special thing in the world. And social media is this incredible free tool that you can use to like spread that message even further. And I plead to you that the world needs your voice. Like, we are having some real hard times. I was listening to news about the war in Ukraine this morning, which just had me in tears. It's just, we need your voice. We need all of us, because hurt people and healed people heal people. And you all are in the business of healing. So.
Oh, I love that. And you guys know, if you guys want to have more time with Lauren or have any questions about Ucoachia, that's what we're here for. And we just invite you all to join and just join the movement of getting your business built without spending a fortune to do it, and having access to over 10 experts whose entire mission is to help you hit your goals. And that's all we want for you. I see Shireen is asking, what's the best way to come up with post ideas? Don't ask me. Let's ask you.
Can I give a brief answer? Do we have time?
Yeah.
Shireen, I can't help myself. Great, Shireen. This is a really good question, Shireen. I love to kind of work backwards. I love to think of, what does your client need to know and believe in order to work with you? And if normally there's somewhere, when I'm working with people, we did this in Ucoachia, we came up with between 3 and 5 pillar pieces of content or statements, so like for me, one of the main things is you don't have to like social media to be good at social media, right? Like that is something that when people hear, they're like, I don't like social media either. And I'm like, great, you're in the right place. So what are those 3 to 5 content points? And then just rotate through them. You could do one a week. You could do one a month. Like, we'll really lean into that space. I'm trying to think of something that I have, but yeah, just putting those pillars together and then focusing and really going into them.
Can I share here too? I just want to support Shireen, because something that I have found to be helpful is sharing your journey, right? It's like you are on a journey, you've mastered certain things that you want to share with other people, but every day, this morning with my kids, I had to go to a mindful place to survive. And so every day is ripe with stories about how you are managing your life that can serve others, and as it applies to your specialty. So how vulnerable are you willing to get in sharing your life with people? And the more you're willing to do that and be relatable, it's very, very attractive and magnetic to share your journey along the way and the lessons, and not to sit in the breakdown of it, like not to go off, because but to really focus on the breakthrough and how you're moving forward, right? So that has always helped me. Oh,
Yes.
thanks, Shanda.
Yes, Harley, that's beautiful. Yeah, no, we're way past the point of perfectly curated feeds. Like the more human you can be, the more honest you can be, the better it is.
Yep.
And also, just sharing your life and before sharing your life, like really look at your life. Like what pieces do you not want to share? What
Yep.
pieces do you feel really comfortable sharing? For people with children, they get to decide like, do I want to share about my kids or not? And sometimes there's a hard line for people, and whatever it is for you, that's great. But like, I share a lot about my dogs. I share a lot about my home improvement projects, like painting my walls. Like
it's fascinating. I cannot stop watching whenever you do that. But I know for myself when I have my Ucoachia page, but then I have this other page when I was doing my own personal coaching and sales. And the things that got the most responses were when I was walking down the street, sweaty, and talking about, I think I was talking about my hair, which had nothing to do with sales, nothing. And yet that's what, and then from that, more people actually saw my videos because there was a relatable part of it. And it was interesting. I was like, this is what you care about? Really? And apparently, yes. But it was like the catch, like what brought them in, not what made them stay.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing. When I work out in the morning, I get my ideas. It's like, you get downloads when you're in your physical body and you're working out your energy and you get unstuck. So if you have an exercise routine, have a pad or your phone close and you'll get it. If you make the intention when you exercise that, okay, one of my intentions is to connect with something that will serve my audience, things will come. That's another tip.
Great advice. I love that.
Okay.
Also, a technical thing, for some reason, people love the walking videos. I think it's because, when we watch television, there's movement to the camera.
Yes.
Rarely do we see a static, there's normally some movement. And so I think that we're just conditioned when we see that, it just feels like catchy to us. So
there's a question oh, sorry, Nancy. There's a question in the chat from Mary for you. For the algorithms, do you need to post at the same time when you post? Like if once a week at 5 p.m., then that's the time?
Oh, this is so good. So, Mary, the numbers are my favorite part. All of the back end, all of the algorithm stuff. Oh, that is like so joy to me. So you need to look at your own specific things to find out what the day and time is. There's general best practices, but really once your audience starts getting engaged, you're going to see a rhythm to how people are engaging with your stuff. Now, I would like to see people commit to consistency. So, like Monday at 5 p.m., if that's your jam, like you were committing to that Monday at 5 p.m. But I would also like for you to be aware. I recommend people looking about every 30 days. What did well in the past? Where are the spikes? Where are things happening? And then maybe adjusting your, maybe it's Monday at 3 p.m. is when you should be posting. Depending on the platform, it can matter a little to a lot based on like a best time to post practice. So the most important thing is for you to find one that works for you and to start that consistency, because if for some reason it's saying, 7 a.m. on Sundays is your peak time, I don't think that's anyone's peak time, but like, I know for myself, I would never hit that. Like I would just not be able to ever do that. So first figure out what's best for you. And then every 30 days, kind of take a look at your algorithm and be like, okay, that worked.
I love that answer. And it's because what time can you really show up as your most aligned, authentic person ready to serve? Look at your schedule and see where those blocks of times are where you are can really be present and available to serve in those times. And then just practice doing that consistently. Like the consistency is key. I love that.
Scheduling tools are great. Use a scheduling tool if you're like, hey, I'm going to schedule things for Monday at 5 p.m. all month.
And by scheduling tools, can you do you mean scheduling tools like within Facebook, within Instagram, or like on your calendar? What do you mean specifically by scheduling tools?
So Meta has a great free scheduling tool for both Facebook and Instagram. It works really well. It can be clunky to use and it's not fabulous. If you're speaking for Instagram, I love Later. It has a free plan. I think you get to upload like 30 posts a month or something, which is like way more than anybody needs to do. So Later is a fabulous tool for Instagram. For LinkedIn, Buffer and Hootsuite are the only two third-party approved schedulers for LinkedIn. So Diane, if you're looking to schedule your content, you may want to look into those. Facebook is its own best scheduling tool, like, you know, Meta, Facebook, whatever. There's really not another one that's better than that. For Twitter, you can use Later for Twitter as well. And I really love something called Meet Edgar, which doesn't have a free plan, but if Twitter is your jam, Meet Edgar is such a wonderful way to post content.
That name is amazing to me.
Yeah, I know.
They have a little octopus. Edgar's an octopus and he has these little arms. I just love it.
I think we now know why Meet Edgar is your favorite.
Thank you so much. Did everyone get their questions answered? Anyone have anything before we wrap up?
And just, you know, if you need more, Lauren, I'm serious, you guys, like while we're in launch,
yeah,
it is in unprecedented access to people like Lauren. So this is the time for you.
Absolutely. So listen, thank you so much for being with us, Lauren. All of you, thank you for being here. This launch is not going to be forever. You can go to Ucoachia. I'm
going to put it in the
chat. And we have a very special rate right now, $395 a month to join, which is, you know, Lauren was talking earlier about how we're really trying to make this accessible and affordable while you build your business. We have so many bonuses that are coming in month 1 and month 2 from all of our experts have chipped in and given. So the value is absurd right now. And we would love, and hopefully through this event, you're getting to feel our vibe, our energy, that we're really here to help. And that the value is here. We have incredible experts like Lauren. And I mean, honestly, what I just wrote down myself from you today, Lauren, honestly, is so much that I want to go implement. So everyone go implement what you've learned.
Implement.
Stick around. Truly absurd, Janda says.
And then tomorrow, just because you all know, tomorrow is Kate's coming on. And Kate is one of the top 100 marketers in the US and is a complete and total badass.
She really is.
Yeah. So
get ready.
You guys, I mean, between today and tomorrow, mine's a blowing.
Yes. So get ready for tomorrow. Go see what you can implement from today. Come check us out at Ucoachia. We can't wait to have you. We're so excited about all of this.
Yep. And the link is in the chat, ucoachia.com/join. And any questions, we are here to support you.
Yeah, just go to ucoachia@gmail.com for questions, and we'll see you guys at the next one. Have an awesome day. Thank you, Lauren.
Ciao for now, y'all.